hit the bell icon for videos like this. So you might know at the moment I'm not very well, so I am going to make this brief. I have got stomach infection, gastroenteritis. It's really bad. I have got tummy pains right now, but I wanted to connect with you and just share something very, very important. And that is your worth is not in how much you do. It's not in your doingness. It's in your beingness. In other words, you should be valuing your worth on just being alive and being present and taking care of yourself rather than how much you do or don't do. So over these last weeks, you might have noticed I've been very poorly. First of all, on the 16th of February, I developed an illness, which is like a nasal infection. And it was really not good. I wasn't in a good way. It affected my voice. And I also ended up with a lump under my eye, an infection going down the side of my face. I've still got some of the lump under my eye and I had to have antibiotics. The antibiotics ended on the 4th of March. And then on the 5th, I was still feeling very poorly off the antibiotics. They affected my digestive system, which probably is why I've been more susceptible to getting gastroenteritis. And then on Mother's Day at the weekend, I took poorly. And when I got back late at night this Sunday just gone, I was in a lot of pain, but I was in a lot of toilet issue problems. I'm not going to go into all that. It's very, very gross and horrible. But over these weeks, I've learned instead of like pushing myself to be more productive and worrying and fretting about all the stuff I'm not doing, like all the posts I'm not doing at the moment, the newsletters I haven't done, the people I haven't added to my groups, the list of tasks that's piling up, that's been there for a week, some of it, or in some cases with my groups, I've got people waiting for more than weeks. So I'll let you know it is months, which isn't great, I admit. But the whole point is I'm having to take my health really, really seriously. And so I'm not valuing my worth on all the stuff I'm not doing, because if I looked at that, that would be very negative. Like, what aren't I doing now? I'm not doing a lot of stuff. But I am putting my worth in what is just being here. Hello to everyone in chat. So this is going to be a short live stream compared to my usual live streams that I do that's long, because I'm not well and my stomach is hurting at the moment. But I just wanted to check in with you and tell you, as part of your self-care, I want you to examine within yourself how much you are kind of like telling yourself off by all the things you're not doing when you're sick and when you're ill. And I want you to stop doing that and instead value your worth on just being alive and being present in the moment and your ability to take care of yourself. Hello, Jacob. And so it's very, very important. Like, I usually like to be productive a lot. I usually, really value my worth by how productive I am, how much stuff I can get done. And I still get a buzz out of being able to do a lot of stuff, right? But I'm having to say, hang on a minute, you have to put your health first, because you keep getting sick, Sandra. And unless you put your health first, you slow down, you chill out, you calm your nervous system down, you're not going to get better. You're just going to keep having the stress within your body, which is going to keep fueling the sickness rather than helping you overcome it. So sometimes you have to take a step back from being productive and always wanting to do stuff to realizing your worth is just being alive, and it's actually in your self-care. Like, how well can you look after yourself in difficult times? How well can you make sure you're nourished, or in my case have to leave off eating foods and then decide when to eat certain foods depending on how my gastroenteritis tummy is. It's not nice having what I've got. It's really horrible. I don't wish it on anyone. I'm really grateful for all the love and support. Obviously, I'm better than what I was, but I'm still not good. Like, I've ate fish tonight, which is the first time I've ate fish, and then my tummy's like hurting. It's causing me pain here, right? It's not what I want to happen, but I have to give myself time and time out to heal. So I have to be my own best doctor to myself, if you like. I write down and monitor things like my blood pressure, my temperature. My temperature's stable. My blood pressure is lower than normal most times I'm taking it, or I think every time I've took it since I've been sick, actually. And so I'm aware of my blood sugar levels and stuff like that. So I think, like, if you're going to have a task, if you're going to be productive, your task should be to take care of yourself and to practice self-care. This means chilling out with movies. This is about not feeling guilty that you're not doing what you know, that your list of tasks that you should be doing. This is about letting people know in messages, for example, that you're not as responsive in messages, you're not posting as much as you do, you're just taking time out to chill and relax for you. And that is so important. I'm having to do that at the moment. You'll notice I'm still posting on this channel, but I'm not posting as much variety of content at the moment. And I'm not posting as much as I would like to post. That isn't me being mean. That's me being good to myself and still keeping a connection whilst doing that within my limits. I have been on a boot camp today, which is I joined it later because, again, I practice self-care. So instead of rushing to actually be at the virtual boot camp on time, which I signed up to a while ago, I'm like, you know what, my stomach's hurting, I'm going to spend an extra hour in bed. That's going to mean that I'm late going in the shower, and I'm late to the boot camp, but my health is more important and that comes first. So instead of always thinking work's got to be first and I've got to do this and I've got to do that, I'm just pulling myself back and saying, hey, you know, it's okay if I'm not there on time. It's okay if I come later. It's optional in my life. I don't have to do it because health is the most important thing. If you don't have your health, then you're not going to be able to do all the productive stuff you need to do. And for me, it's been hard because I had a list of tasks that I was going to do after my last lot of sickness finished on like the 4th with the antibiotics 5th, because I had antibiotic side effects on the 5th of March. And then it's like I had a 10-day window, was catching up with stuff, and then boom, I'm sick again, right? And this time it's been horrendous. Like, you know, I have a lot of tummy pain. I have to lie on the bed a lot. And I've been up a lot today. I haven't been lying down as much as I usually would because I've been attending the boot camp. So I wanted to reach out to you briefly because I want to connect with you, because I want you to know I care about you. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful for everything you do. Money's more important. Money is not more important than health. You can't take your money to the grave with you. It does nothing in the grave. Right? So if you don't look after your health and you die younger than you're meant to, you won't even have any money, and you know, you can't do anything in the grave with your money, right? So you need to look after your health. Health is the most important thing. Health, as they say, is wealth. That is the actual true wealth in life, is your health and is your connections. Now, obviously, people who have misguided agendas and people who value their worth in the amount of productivity, which I was talking about in this video, you know, how much they can do, is not going to necessarily have that mindset. But it's a shift. We're all taught and conditioned usually. The more productive you are, the more work you do, the busier you are, the more valuable you are in society and as a person. But that's not actually true. What I've learned from training and coaching from other people is that our worth is in our beingness. It's in being in the present moment as much as possible. It's in being alive and it's in being here, right? Yeah. So no money equals no hospital equals no health. Well, I live in the UK and we do have national health service in the UK. So do you know what I mean? And obviously some people take insurance policies out in other countries. So, but if you have no life, you won't even need to go to hospital or do anything with money because you'll be dead, right? So you need to like have some perspective that yes, money is important. I'm not saying it's not, but if you are not alive to use the money, you're dead, then you know your life's gone. Then you're not even going to worry about health or hospital. You're going to be dead or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So in the UK, there is a national health service where we don't have to pay to go into the hospital, right? That's one of the blessings I have about living in the UK, right? There's also the walk-in centres in the UK, NHS walk-in centres that you can go to. There's a call line, which I had to call 111, right? So, but if I'm not looking after myself, if I'm not taking care of myself, right, then I live on my own. I could end up being on the floor, unconscious or something, and no one would come because I'm not looking after myself. So I have to put myself first. I have to put my health first. I have to put me first in order to be strong enough to look after myself when I'm poorly like this. And so, like I said, many people value their worth in how much they're doing. It's like you can talk to some people like, oh, what are you doing for work? What are you doing this? What are you doing? Not like, how are you and how are you, like, just being you. Like, people don't value people based on them just being alive. They value usually them on how much they can do for them and everyone, you know what I mean? But you have to, like, understand that it's important to just value people that they're alive and to value yourself being alive. So it's very, very important that you understand that. So, you know what I mean? And that we bring positive energy into, you know, what we actually do. We bring positive energy into life. Do you know what I mean? Positivity is very important. So when you're not very well, you don't want a lot of negative and a negative energy. You want to be putting positive energy into yourself, positive thoughts as much as possible, and keeping yourself in a more positive frame of mind so that you're able to have the energy and motivation to be able to keep going, to get yourself better. You have to remember things like this time shall pass. You have to be a motivator of yourself. And if you're too worried about what you're not doing, you're not focusing on getting better. So the focus should be on getting better and becoming stronger within yourself again. And I want you to know it's okay to take time out for you. It's okay to say to family and friends, you know what, I'm just sitting here, I'm chilling, I'm relaxing. If that's what you're doing, watching movies, I'm not going to stress myself out, because stress is actually what causes a lot of problems within the body, you know. And so it's, you know, you need to de-stress yourself, not put pressure on yourself, so that you're free to get better, so that you can do more things later on. But I want you to remember going forward that you need to take time out for you. Schedule time in for yourself. Schedule time in for self-date. Schedule time in for just relaxation, you know. Take it easy. Don't just think you have to go at things all the time and that you have to, you know, like, just be doing stuff all the time. Because if you're just doing stuff all the time, then you're not being in life. You're kind of more observing life and grinding through it rather than just experiencing it. And we want to experience life. We want to be having some freedom to actually enjoy the moment. But if we're always focused on what we're not doing, we're not actually focusing on what we are doing and focusing on being in the moment. So in terms of self-care, I am watching, like I said, my blood pressure. I think I've pretty much, like, sussed out at the moment it's lower than normal. My temperature's been pretty stable, so that's been good. And I'm monitoring, like, what I eat, what affects me, what doesn't. So you have to, in sometimes when you're ill, be like a self-detective. This doesn't mean making rubbish up about yourself. It means, like, finding out what works for you within the remits of the medical and professional advice that you've been given, and following your own protocol for taking care of yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm having to take more time out to just be living and not worry about what I'm not doing. I hope that makes sense. So things I'm doing, like, obviously is I'm watching what I eat. I'm trying to juggle between, like, I'm really, really hungry right now because I'm not eating as much as I usually do, to I ate that, how does it affect me? Did it, like, make my tummy worse? Did it make me have stomach pain? Did it make me like, you know, with gastroenteritis you get burping and stuff like that, and it's just pretty gross symptoms you get. So I have to monitor my symptoms and how the food's affecting me. Whereas usually when I'm just in life, what we take for granted is we just eat and we don't worry about this stuff, right? Because we don't have to worry about, like, what we affect in our tummy. But when you go through something like this, it kind of flips everything on its head, because you're actually constantly worried about what you're putting in your body. But if you worry, it can cause more digestive issues because you're stressed out. So I just have to, you know, use the power of my mind to try and believe in myself and know that I can take good care of myself. And I've actually lived on my own for years. So I have to keep reminding myself, you can do this, you can look after yourself. Because, in the moments that I feel faint, in the moments that I feel like weaker and that my head's not really with my body, which I have been feeling more of, then it's even now I'm feeling a bit lightheaded. It's harder because it's like a destabilizing thing, right? It's like if my head's not really with my body, it's like, how in control am I of my life and looking after myself right now? But then we have this innate ability as humans to kind of have internal resources that activate automatically in desperate and difficult situations. So, for example, when I was on this boot camp, I first of all, I was late for it today. And then the first networking session they had, I said, I'm too poorly to take part, I'll just listen. And I wrote one thing in the chat. But then the other times we did this networking as part of the event, I did actually speak. But I said that I'm not very well at the moment and what's wrong with me. And then I kind of, because I was talking about asexuality and I'm so passionate about helping asexuals on this channel, it all came naturally, and it was like just ad-libbed and, out there. I wasn't really thinking, but I let them know that I wasn't feeling very well. So if I make mistakes, it's kind of like they understand, but I did really well. Like, someone who's a coach actually at the event said, I'm so passionate about what I talk about that they love my passion. They love, even though I'm not well, I'm still very energetic and enthusiastic when I talk about asexuality and I talk about this channel. And I was talking about my asexuality principles for unshakable confidence, but because they were saying, they have this part of the event where you can put a hot or not title in there, so you can put the title of a book to see what people think. And the person said, oh, you're going to take part in that? I'm like, no, I know what I'm writing. I've already got the title of my book. I already know what my audience needs, because obviously this is not an asexuality audience. This is an entrepreneur, speaker, coaches, podcasters, other writers, boot camp. It's not a boot camp aimed at asexual. So I know my audience. I know you more than anything else. I've been helping you for over a decade now. So I understand what asexuals need. And the Asexuality Principles for Unshakable Confidence book, I have managed to write 2 principles in that book, which I'm really proud of, because I know that writing is very healing for me. So I get to a point where it's too much for me because I'm poorly at the moment and my mind and brain are like kind of shut down, or they shut off, or they're kind of like not quite with it. But the times when I am able to like write, I then get a lot of satisfaction and happiness out of it. And it feels so good. So I'm having to manage like a little bit that I can do at the moment, versus a lot of trying to rest and stuff. Obviously with the boot camp, it's on for 3 days. It's on today and the next 2 days. So it's a lot harder on my body because my body isn't used to doing work. And although I'm not doing physical writing work and stuff like that, I'm having to concentrate a lot. I'm having to take a lot of information in. I'm having to look at the chat. I'm having to look at questions people are asking. I'm having to take part in, well, I don't have to, but I am taking part in the majority of the networking stuff. So this is a lot more harder on me. But I did sign up for it before. And, I'm hoping that my mindset will be good, because one thing that's really difficult when you're constantly getting ill and sick, and I have disabilities as well, is your mindset does get worse. It does get like feeling like, oh my God, am I never going to be well? Like I just keep getting sick all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's like I got over one illness and I got another, or I got over one illness in part and then I got another again, So it's very, very difficult. And, it's kind of hard to keep a positive mindset, but when you're around positive people are very energetic. They bring out the more energetic side of me. And, I think that it can help my growth in a good way while I'm sick, so long as I don't overextend myself. So I think it's very important to not do that, to not push yourself so hard that you actually make yourself iller. Do you know what I mean? So I'm taking a lot. I am taking, but not this weekend as much time. But I have been taking time out, like watching movies most days, sometimes a couple of movies a day. Just making sure that I'm watching what I'm eating, making sure that I'm getting plenty of rest, and making sure that I got foods in that I can actually eat that are not causing me issues, but trying to get back into eating more nutritious food, because my skin was starting to peel, because I'm not getting the nutrition I need, because I'm not eating as much of the foods I need to eat, So that's a difficulty as well. But I wanted to share, because I was so focused in the past on, like, I've got to be productive, I've got to do this and this, and push myself way past my limits, and this is a really good. But now, over the last few weeks, I'm like, you know what? I think the opposite. I think you should take it easy. I think you should reset your nervous system. I think you should calm down. I think you should take things very slowly. I think you should just say to yourself, you know what? I know I've got a list of stuff to do. It's not great. It's not the ideal situation. But right now I'm taking time out for me to get better, in the hope that I will be able to better get through these things. And when I have a burst of energy, I can do something if I want to, but I can't do all this stuff because it's just too much and too overwhelming. It makes me sick again. So if I want to do a little thing, then I can. I did actually quite a lot in the last 24 hours before today, when I went to sleep at like 7 a.m. this morning. And then I went to sleep for a few hours, and then I've been doing the boot camp. But, my tummy has been hurting me. So it's particularly on the right side, it's even worse. So it's important that I just look after myself, and whatever self-care looks like to you. If it's a hot shower, which I've had, I find that very soothing. If I've got the energy for it, if I haven't got the energy for it, I can't do it. Putting on a nice top. You'll notice I'm dressed up at the moment, and I've been in pajamas a lot. Just not having until yesterday, I didn't even have a shower for 3 days because I wasn't well at all. And I didn't even have the energy to stand in the shower. So things like that, it just you have to prioritize things for your own health and well-being at the time. And the simplest of things can just make you feel good, like having a shower and putting on some nice clothes and just taking care of yourself, just giving yourself some rest. And you're saying, you know what? This can all wait, because my life is the most important thing. My health is the most important thing. If I don't have my health, I can't even do all this stuff. And I value a lot more my beingness now. I'm like, you're on planet Earth, Sandra. How good is that? You get to connect with all these wonderful people in your YouTube community. You get to be part of something bigger than you are. That's just amazing. You get to just be alive when people are not anymore. You get to just be here, and experience things. And just by you being here, it's enough. You don't have to prove your worth by doing. You just have to be your worth in your beingness, in being here in life, and realize what a beautiful thing that is. And so that's what I would encourage you to do. I'd encourage you to stop worrying about all the things you haven't done in your life. Just, obviously this doesn't mean not having goals. I think it's important to set goals, or to have things to strive towards, have a project or things you want to do, but not to push yourself so hard that you focus on that to the detriment of your own expense, basically detriment your own health. So I think it's really important that when you need to take time out, you're like, you know what, I'm just taking time out because that's what's best for me at the moment. And then when I need to be doing more stuff because I'm better and I want to do more stuff, I got more energy for it, then that's fine. But until then, I'm going to give myself some grace, and I'm just going to do what I think I can do and what I'm able to do. So I want you to put yourself more in that mindset, what is good about you just being you? I see some people in life and they're just constantly doing stuff. I used to be that person, right? And I'm not saying it's completely bad, right? But when I see some people, all they're doing is they're just going from one thing to another thing to another thing. And if that's to numb out pain, if that's to forget other things, if that's to be overproductive to compensate for the fact you feel you're lacking in other areas of your life, that's not good. That means there's a healing to be had. So I actually feel by doing less, particularly at the moment while I'm not well, it's more healing. It's more like saying, you know what? You're first, Sandra. Your life's first. Your health's first. You're first. And relaxing more into being in life rather than having 1,000,001 tasks and they're going, oh, look how much I've done. I think it's important. I think it's important to acknowledge your successes and how much you have done. But I think it's also important to stop and say, I'm okay if I don't do all this stuff because I am still worthy to be in here in life, and I am still worthy just to be and exist even if I don't do a ton of stuff. Like just getting my health back is the best productive thing, if you like, that I need to focus on. And so I think some people, not everyone, but I think some people use productivity as a way of trying to prove they're good enough. Probably due to like childhood trauma in their past, to prove they're good enough, to prove they're worthy, to prove that they're, you know, that they're moving forward in their life. But I would say, just think about what is going on in your mind that you feel you have to do all this stuff in order to prove your worth, rather than what is it that you could do to just take a step back, to appreciate yourself more, and to work through the tough stuff that you might have been ignoring or skipping in the name of productivity. I'm not saying this is everyone. I'm not saying that's what I was doing, but I don't value my worth like I used to by how productive I am. I value my worth by having a relaxed nervous system more, being calmer in my nervous system, being more peaceful in my nervous system. And just by being alive is a good thing. Do you know what I mean? And so practicing self-care, you know, like making sure that if you have the energy, you can shower is a really good thing, or bath if you prefer bath. You know, especially if you've got aches and pains, it can help relieve it. Making sure that you are having nutritious food if you can. With me at the moment, I can't have as much, I haven't been having as much nutrition as I would usually like, because with gastroenteritis, for a while you can't eat much. I mean, for hours you can't eat anything, because it's just, your body's not capable of retaining it. That's the only way I can put it. And so, you know, that then gives me a lack of energy, because it's like depleting my nutrients in my body and my systems that actually bring positive emotions. So one thing that's not good about eating less and having less nutrition is it interferes with emotions, because I'm very, very conscious of the emotions that get created by what I eat. So I look for obviously positive emotions. I've noticed a shift sometimes in what I eat with my emotions, like whether my mind's good, whether my mind's more negative, whether I'm more emotional, whether I'm less emotional, whether I'm more in control and feeling alive, more thriving, or more like docile. Do you know what I mean? And because I can't eat everything I want to eat at the moment, obviously it's fluctuating more. And I think that deserves some tender loving care and time and attention, and just a warm embrace to yourself. You know, I think it's good to give yourself a hug, and to know that, you know, it's hard when you're poorly, especially if you're like me, living on your own. I know there's quite a number of asexuals that are single and that do live on their own, so I think it's the hardest time. Like if you're on your own, you've got no one else at home, it's good because you're not spreading anything to anyone. But it's also really tough because, like, for me personally, like, if my head's not with my body, if I'm feeling dizzy, I'm feeling faint, that to me is dangerous. Like, that to me activates my nervous system. It's like, oh, warning bells, you know, like, you have to be okay. You have to be in your right mind as much as possible, because you have to be able to, like, get yourself to hospital if it came to that. Dial 111 if it came to that, which I had to do. I haven't been to hospital. I have dialed 111. They referred me to my doctor, who then told me the symptoms will probably last 5 to 7 days. If they last longer than that, and I have to have like a sample taken and stuff like that. So, do you know what I mean? But if I'm not well enough to actually think straight, or think even like on a subconscious level, and be able to say what's wrong with me, then that's a danger zone, you know? So for me, like, not eating is not a good thing. Someone left a comment saying, oh, are you fasting? Like, fast for 24 hours. And I'm sure they probably meant well, because they're like, oh, it's great for gastro, but I'm not going to be fasting for 24 hours. I'm not intentionally fasting. I'm having to not eat out of necessity because I've got gastroenteritis and I am in recovery. Like, I'm not contagious anymore that I know of, because the doctor said that when you get to a certain stage, like 48 hours after that, you're non-contagious. And I've gone through that stage. But, you know what I mean? My mind's not completely with everything at the moment. And so it's harder for me, it's still hard for me. And when I'm not eating, it's actually making me sicker in lots of ways. It's not doing me good, because it means I'm not getting my nutrients, I'm not getting all my vitamins and minerals I should get. I've actually got lower bone density, by not having the amount of calcium I need for that. It's really bad. It's not going to help. It's just going to make my bone density worse. Weaker bones, more susceptible to fractures, more susceptible to stuff like falls and stuff. It's really bad. And so for me, it's hard because I do have disabilities, and it's like as soon as I start to get better, it's like I get worse again. It's like I start doing weights and do more of it. I start to do more and more exercise, and then I have to go and start all over again from scratch. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a cycle, which is really hard. I think when you've got disabilities, it's even more important to practice self-care and to practice like being in your beingness rather than worrying about what you're not doing. Because society's like, oh, you should be doing this and you should be doing that, right? To do something that an able-bodied person does, it takes me 3 or 4 times longer than what that person would do, right? So my life is not normal. It's taken up with a lot of things that other people will be able to get done really quickly. And so that puts added pressure on me. So I don't want to be thinking about all the stuff that I haven't done. I want to be thinking, God, you managed to get up today. You managed to have a shower today. I mean, you haven't been, I had a shower yesterday and today. That's 2 times in a row. Now, that's nothing if you're well, but if you're not well and, like you're not able to eat fully like you should be, and you feel like your head's not with your body, and it's not good, right? And so for me, like not eating is not good. It's going to lower my bone density even more, which is dangerous as it is. It means that I'm not experiencing as many good emotions as I wished I did, because obviously I'm not getting all the nutrients. My skin was peeling. I mean, I've been trying to have whole, proper meals now, yesterday and today, but I've got tummy pain now when I'm talking to you. But so I'm not going to be staying on here long like I usually do, but I felt like I wanted to connect with you, my audience, you know what I mean? I want to connect with you and just share some of this stuff, because I'm like, I feel better when I'm connected sometimes. Like, as human beings, we need connection. I live on my own. I spend most of my time on my own, and I'm an extrovert, right? They don't really go well together. I'm having to spend more time on my own because I'm ill, but also like through life circumstance, I'm not on my own. And that's the way it is, right? I do love my own company, luckily, which is great. But I do like connection as well. As human beings, we love connection, right? And sometimes connection to others can be very healing. Depends if they're being negative or if they're being positive. If they're giving good, positive energy to you, or if they're giving negative energy to you. If they're giving negative energy to you, that's just going to be absorbed, especially when you're not in your right mind and you're less, you're more vulnerable and more sick and less healthy. And if it's absorbed, then it can make you sicker. So what we put in our minds, what we listen to, the people that come into our lives, these all do affect our energy and our health. They affect how much we value our worth. They shouldn't do, because external influences shouldn't matter. It should only be what you think and believe about yourself. But let's face it, we live in a world full of other people. We're not just living with ourselves. So of course people affect each other. We live in a ecosystem of beings, right? And for every action, there's a reaction. And so to think that no one affects anyone and everything's your own responsibility, like some people say, I get that my responsibility is like how I perceive the thing and how I take it on or don't take it on. But we are living in a world full of each other, and we do affect each other. So I think it's very important when you're sick and you're managing the expectations of other people, as in the sense like you're saying, look, I'm just taking time out for me. My worth is not in how much I do. My worth is in getting myself better and how well I take care of myself. My worth is in my kindness, in my generosity of spirit. My worth is in me being able to, take responsibility for my health. Taking responsibility for your health is a big ownership, especially when you've got disabilities and you're having to look after yourself. It's full on responsibility, right? I was saying that disabilities are hard because what takes someone like 10 minutes to do will take me like 3 or 4 times longer. you can imagine the impact on my body and mind and soul. Well, I'm taking 3 or 4 times longer to do things that other people, able-bodied people, can do in a fraction of the time. That's hard. It means it's a lot more harder work for me to do one normal thing, right? So especially if you've got disabilities, I want you to be really, really kind and gentle on yourself, and to know that you're doing the best you can and that you're okay to take time out for you. Heather, sending light and positive vibes and listening. Oh, thank you, Heather. Lots of love to you. Thank you for being here. So yeah, I think it's really important, because I used to think, because I've been taught, especially in the entrepreneur space, that it's really important to hustle. It's important to be busy all the time. Well, productive all the time rather than busy. It's important to, like, you know, be doing stuff and reaching your goals and everything like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't look after your health, there won't be a you to reach those goals. And I'm in the Love Life Club. So Matthew Hussey is the world's #1 dating, relationship and confidence coach. And I'm in his Love Life Club. I pay for his private membership. Pay yearly, actually. So it's like his elite experience. And I pay. And, you know, I've learned from Matthew himself that he's learned over his time that he always thought the hustle, you know, doing stuff all the time, you know, knocking off your to-do list, busting through your tasks is the way to go always. And it's like hustle, work hard. But as he's got older, he's come to realize that sometimes just having a day of doing nothing much, is actually a good day. It's actually doing something for yourself. It's actually caring for yourself. It's actually allowing yourself that space and time to just be, rather than do all the time. So his like philosophy now is like, it's okay to have some rest days. It's okay to just do nothing. It's okay to just go with the flow and be in the moment and not be doing stuff all the time. It's okay if you don't get everything done on your to-do list. Like he often says that, you know, he doesn't get everything done on this to-do list. He'll get some done, but not others. At the moment, him and his wife have had a baby, so their schedule is all over the place. But he shares all this personal stuff, which is really nice. And also someone at the boot camp today who, Corrie, the host, did a pre-recorded video, who I know on Facebook because I'm connected and they're really amazing. She used to value her worth in her doingness rather than her beingness. And she talks about this all the time, that she thought her worth was in how much she could do, how much she could accomplish in her life, even if it made her miserable inside. And to the outside world, she looked like she got everything together, the perfect life. But inside, she was miserable. Now she values herself by just being, her beingness, being alive, being who she is, living into her essence and spending time with her family. And she's got 2 sons, you know, those that mean the world to her and that matter to her the most. So instead of putting tasks first and things that have to be done first, like, you know, a huge work list and stuff, it's all about now being her first, and then, you know, being with her family and allowing her to do things that will add value to her life, but in a way that's not compromising who she is, and it's not focused on just how much output she has. It's focused on living and being and doing things that make her happy, you know, like spending time with her husband and her son. So today it was a recorded message, you know, well, I say recorded message, recorded interview is precisely the thing, not message, because Corrie was interviewing her on a pre-recorded interview. And she did bring this up about, you know, she used to value her worth in her doingness rather than her beingness, in how much she could do. And to the outside world, because she used to be like a bodybuilder, like a model bodybuilder, you know, and she used to be like fitness, and she used to be like one of those people that, you know, that everyone used to look at her body and think how great she was, but inside she wasn't happy. So to outside she looked like perfection, but inside she felt like empty and kind of lost, from what I understand that she said. So nowadays she focuses on what she really wants to do, but with time for herself and her family. Now she has this motto of body before business, where she makes sure she takes care of her health, her physical health, by doing a workout routine before she even starts her business. and she always makes sure she's centered. And so that's the most important thing. And she was recorded on an interview today rather than being there in person because she's spending time with her husband. And they're away at the moment. So she's like, I'm spending time with my husband. I think she's spending time with her kids as well. And they're all like together. But I know her and her husband are on a trip. And so she's put that first. She could have just said, well, no, I can't do that because I've got to put work. But they're doing this tour for 10 days. So from what I understand, so that's the most important thing to her, is spending more time with her family. Her husband was actually in a serious accident that he's recovered well from. He broke, it was 9 ribs. I think it was 9. It was a lot of ribs. And it was a bicycle accident. And luckily he's like better now. But that took a lot of getting over for her and going through with him. And even in that time, I remember her reflecting on her life, thinking she doesn't spend enough time as a mum because she's a lot more in her business. So I think since then she's changed and thinks she wants to spend time as a mum more and be there for her children, because her husband used to take on a lot more of that responsibility. But when he got sick, she had to take on. So things in life come to teach us a lesson sometimes. And when my repeated thing is like, you keep getting ill, Sandra, take care of your health, take care of your health, take care of your health. It's kind of like screaming, you got to take care of your health. You just got to like throw caution to the wind and say, hey, I've got this stuff to do. But you know what? I can't do it all. And so I have had to put things off. I have had to send messages to people, say, hey, I'm not up to working at the moment. I'm not up to doing this right now. Or I'm not up to, like doing the usual stuff. I'm just taking time out for me because it's what's best for me. I'm not saying they have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. But I just thought I'd share, because I've come across some people who've taught me a different way of thinking. And I thought I'd pass that information on to you so that maybe you can have a different way of thinking about yourself. It's interesting that when I value even things like people in friendships, I always value the person on the fact that they're alive, not what they can do for me. And most people don't think that way. So usually I value someone being just by being with them. You know what I mean? It's like, I just enjoy being with that person. And obviously in a romantic relationship, it's like I'm not in romantic relationship or like in-person friendship or anything, but at the moment, but you know what I mean? I care about the person just being alive. It's enough for me that they're alive, right? I don't think they have to prove their worth to me. Having said that, I don't think either it's good to accept people that are displaying obviously toxic traits and things like that. Like, because if they're displaying toxicity towards you, then they don't really value your worth, So I think you have to be mindful of that. But I'm not these people that thinks they have to do loads of stuff to convince me they're valuable. For me, it's more like, what character traits do they have? How kind are they to me? How like are they spending like time with me and valuing me just being in their life, or are they taking me for granted? I think a lot of people take people for granted way too much in life, and it seems like a lot of people need reminders, like, oh, this person's really kind to you, whereas if a person's being kind to me, I'm always like thinking, well, I'm glad this person's in my life because they're being kind to me, and and it's kind of like reciprocal. But it seems a lot of people value people's worth on how much they can do for them rather than them just being in life. And so I think this is an interesting observation about myself, but friendships and romantic relationships shouldn't be based on what that person can do for you. It should be based on mutual reciprocity and sharing with each other, and also working within the limitations of each other, working with the person's personality and stuff like that as well, and trying to find compatibility. Compatibility is the most important thing in any type of relationship or friendship, but I've seen time and time again people like will be like in the beginning of friendship or relationship, they'll be like really, really like valuing that person. It's like, oh, I'm so glad that person's in my life. My life was rubbish before. I'm so glad, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, as time goes on, they take them for granted more and more. And they lose that spark of why they became friends with them or in a relationship with them in the first place. And I think that's quite sad. I know that's diverted off, but we have to remember why we care about ourselves. We have to remember what is important about us just by being us, just by being ourselves, rather than valuing us just because of what we do all the time. Do you know what I mean? There's some parallel there, you know? You want to not take yourself for granted. You want to realize that health is a form of wealth, and that without health, you don't really have much, because if you're not strong to take care of yourself, you're not feeling good, then your body is not at its maximum capacity anyway. Therefore, you can't do everything you want to do in life. So for me, obviously, it's my birthday. If you didn't know, at the end of next month, I'm going away to London for 3 days. So all I'm thinking about at the moment is just get yourself better, Sandra. So for your birthday, that you'll be fine, you know, because that's really important to me. My birthday's really, really important to me. And so it means I can only do certain tasks at a time. I do have to do something. It's not like I can't do anything all the time. For example, I'm self-employed author, as you probably know. If you didn't know, don't forget to check out my books on Amazon. Grab yourself a copy of Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book, or Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. That's very popular, sell up. And Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual. I know more and more people are buying this book lately, so go and grab yourself a copy of one or all of these books. They are very insightful. So as a self-published author, someone who publishes their own book publishing imprint, I'm a registered publisher in the UK under Quirky Books. I am registered self-employed, and I do have some benefits because I've got disabilities. So I don't make a full-time living from what I do. But I'm very grateful for anything I do make. And so I have to report my income expenses to Universal Credit every single month. And they usually tell me to do this on the 21st, or, you know, in a very short time span before I get paid on the 28th. So, but the 21st, I still have transactions coming out. So usually I can't even start it till the 22nd. Although if I do start it, you know, it's got to be what's already happened, if you know what I mean. So I have got that to do, because obviously it's the 21st coming up, if it's not already gone over midnight now. Oh, look, it's nearly midnight. So they'll be knocking on my email door saying, produce these documents, you know, produce the report. So that's hard, because, you know, then I have to do something, because it's by law I have to do that. So even when you're poorly, you do have things that you have to do legally. Sometimes it's hard. Next month, when I go away, I'm going the 23rd, 24th and 25th of April. My birthday's actually the 24th of April. So it means that I have to make sure I do my accounts like as much as possible beforehand, so that I can give them in on the 22nd, because I'm away, and they, you know, I can't be doing them with them when I'm away, because I need to be at home for them. So that's going to be really pushing it time-wise, because usually it takes me about 8 hours to do them or more. Because like I said, I've got disabilities. So what can take someone a couple of hours takes me a lot longer. So that's like, so, you know, it's not like when you're ill, you have no obligations, but you have to make sure that the things that you're not obligated to, that you let people know that you can't do everything right now. Like, you're not up to full capacity, and that's okay. And you have to be okay in yourself to know, you know what? I'm just happy that I'm alive at the moment. I'm happy that I'm not sicker. I'm happy that I am getting better somewhat, that I'm not as bad as I was. And I'm happy that to just be alive in life. I think that's a really important thing to do. And I really feel it's helpful when you do have a support system around you. I don't have a support system here at home in person, but every bit of encouragement from you, every bit of get well wishes and everything like that's really, really helpful. What's not helpful is, which doesn't happen very often, is if instead of some people like praising me and then going, oh, well, that's great, but, you know, like, do this now. That's not helpful, you know. I've had some people in recent weeks, not even before I was ill, they're saying that's great, but, you know, let's get to the next thing now. So, for example, someone who is actually a huge fan of this channel, we hit 2 million views on this channel on the 10th of February. This week, we've just gone over 2,100,000 views, which is incredible because I've been sick for a lot of that time, you know, that those were gained in the last 28 days. And this person said, oh, it's great. We got 2 million when we got 2 million. Let's get to 3. So they didn't actually praise the fact that we got 2 million, right? It's always looking for the next thing, the next best thing, right? That's not actually taking stock of our lives. That's not actually celebrating our successes and wins in the moment. So if you're one of the people that does that, please stop doing that and just actually take in the successes of other people as they are and the successes that you're having, however big or small. Like, I had huge success yesterday because I managed, well, the day before now, because we just hit midnight, because I went out food shopping when I hadn't been able to go out for days because I was contagious before. That is a huge success at this point in my life, because obviously it takes effort to do that, to go and get some shopping for myself when I'm not feeling well, to have to not eat before I go out because I don't want any like toilet issues or major problems like that happening when I'm in the city, you know what I mean? These are all wins. So when you're ill, you have to reprioritize and rethink and how you value the things you do, like what is actually success. Like getting out of bed in the morning can be a success if you're depressed, for example. Just getting out of bed, having a shower is a double success, you know what I mean? So you have to value your life and celebrate your successes relevant to what's actually going on for you contextually. And so if someone does something like has a huge achievement like 2 million like views on this channel, you know, like just say like that's incredible, like a lot of people do, you know, well done. And I love those people who say that because they're happy for me in the moment as I am. They're not putting pressure on me to do anything else, to give more than I've done. They're recognizing and valuing what has actually happened, what it takes to have got that far. And you know who you are. The majority of people are like that on this channel, thank God. But there are some people that, you know, like, oh, it's like the person who probably meant really well. It's like you fasted for like, oh, like, are you fasting? I'm not fasting, right? I'm having to not eat out of necessity, not because I'm fasting. It's like you've done like X amount of hours, like now go 24 hours without it. Like, you know, like that's going to really be good for me. And actually it's not good for me. The doctor told me to eat and he told me to replace electrolytes, you know. He told me I could get electrolyte packs from the chemist. I'm like, yeah, but I'm contagious at the moment, so I can't do that anyway. You know what I mean? So, but I've got to be careful what I have because of my special diet requirements, like, you know, like food allergies and intolerances. So what's helpful is celebrating my wins in the moment and being with me in them rather than pushing me to do something else without fully being in the moment with me. And I think that's something a lot of us are guilty of. We're always kind of looking for the next thing rather than being present in the moment with the people and things that are happening in that moment. It's like when I went to the awards ceremony because I won second run-up speaker of the year in December last year on the 3rd. I was taking all that in. I was like nearly in tears in the audience, how amazing and incredible that was. But if I was just thinking about, oh, let's get another award now, or let's get this now, or let's do that now, I wouldn't have been there. I don't need another award as far as I'm concerned. Like getting second runner-up speaker of the year out of a category with 19 other really top-end speakers is absolutely incredible for me. Just having the second runner-up speaker of the year is enough for me. I don't need to win it. I don't need to be like anything better or that I already am. Because for me, that's given me a huge confidence boost. It's saying I've been recognised for my speaking. And on a big global level, they were global awards in London. To just be there was fantastic. Like, I know that I don't need to go and pursue that endlessly now. Because to me, I am a winner just by doing that. And so if I celebrate that and take it fully in and fully on board, it's actually a lot healthier for me because it's like, wow, look at what you achieved. And I've got my trophies over there and on the windowsill, I keep reminding myself of how lucky I am to get them and how much I achieved that night, you know, but in a way that honors me in my beingness, like, oh my god, you were there, you were present, you're really trying to, I was really trying to win the speaking award. Like, something I need to talk to you about, law of attraction, right? A lot of people have say a law of attraction, right? If you follow this, is there's a couple of things I don't agree with about law of attraction, totally agree with, right? And one of them is you attract what you are. I don't agree that you attract just what you are. I know from my personal experience that you attract what others need, right? Not just what you are. You attract what others need, right? And I can give you examples of this. So, for example, the YouTube channels that teach you how to make money, a lot of the people that have those channels, like if they're really wealthy, they're not attracting wealthy people to their channel. They're attracting people who are poor to their channel, who want to know how to make money because they haven't got the money. Right? They're attracting the opposite of what they are, unless they're lying and they're not really wealthy themselves, which is the case with some people, you know. Like, I have a make money, make cash channel, but I am not going around saying I'm wealthy or I'm making thousands of pounds. I make it clear that I teach people how to make money selling pre-loved items on Facebook Marketplace or Vinted, which is what I've done. This is spare cash. This is not like saying I'm gonna make you thousands of pounds. It's not true. It's not what I've done personally myself, so I don't lie about it. You know what I mean? I know that in a world which is difficult to get money anywhere in the UK at the moment, just a bit of cash is really helpful, you know, to a lot of people. And I've done that over and over again. I've got 5-star reviews to prove it on Facebook Marketplace and Vinted, for example. So I don't go around preaching something that I haven't done. But that is a win. Like, I'm not interested in pretending to be something I'm not. So I think, like, in your beingness, it's all about trusting yourself as much as possible and accepting who you are and your limitations, but also pushing yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone at appropriate moments, you know, but knowing that at the end of the day, you don't need to prove anything to anyone, but just be yourself. And so I was saying 2 things about law of attraction. My mind is going a bit blank because I'm not feeling good, but one, like I've already said what one of them was. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. It's important, but I can't remember at the moment because my mind is literally going blank because I've been on here nearly an hour now, and I said I wasn't going to be here on that long. On here that long, see, my speech is going roundabout now. It's like not being as coherent. So yeah, there's I've already said that one of the things with law of attraction is don't just attract what you are, you attract what others want and need, which can be the opposite of what you are. That's why opposites attract, yeah? So that's why narcissists are attracted to empaths, because empathetic people are lightness, you know what I mean? They're light in their dark. So that's actually why narcissists are attracted to empathetic people. It's the opposite. You know, they're attracted until then they actually decide to go back on that. So they get attracted to empathetic people, light people, like, for example, for a relationship, and then they'll start putting you down about lightness and see that as a weakness. Do you know what I mean? It's very warped. So it's important that we remember that our worth is not in ego. It's not in how we like need to do everything. Our worth is within ourselves, and taking good care of ourselves, you know, that should be the number one priority. I know there was something else I was going to talk about law of attraction that I don't agree with, but I can't remember what that was. It's really insightful and it's gone out of my brain, people. But on my Make Money, Make Cash channel, I actually talk about putting the law of action back in attraction because, I know what it was now. Yes. They say in law of attraction that if you want something so desperately, you will never get it. When it comes to a relationship with a person, I would say that's not necessarily true. But it's more likely to be true. But I have got what I wanted by putting a lot of energy. So, for example, with this winning the speaker award, I wanted to win a speaker award. Like, I came second runner-up, speaker of the year. And I put all my time, energy, and effort. Predominantly, my main focus was in winning an award there. Although I've done loads for diversity inclusion on this channel because Asexuality is part of diversity inclusion. It was the actual speaker award I wanted to win more than anything. And I did win it because what we focus on expands. What energy we drive towards something builds momentum, which puts things in motion, which can make things happen more. So one thing is, if you're so desperate to get it, the universe won't work in your favor and you won't get it. But I know from my personal experience that's not always the case. I wanted a speaker award. I put every effort in I could to my profile. And if you go back to that video, they will actually say, they read out, they like shouted out, yes, about my profile. They said it's because you put so much effort into your profile. That's why you won the award, because we looked at your, and you put so much effort into it. I maxed it out. I went over the amount of limits you're supposed to have. I had to delete some stuff because it wouldn't all show up. So I completely maxed it out. And as far as I know, I was the only person who did that. And they actually said, like, play the clip back, go back and watch that clip. You can search in my videos about the moment when, the awards, that lot. They did actually say it's because you put so much effort into your profile. That's why I won it. And that was all because I've got to win. I've got to win. I really want to win the speaker award. I really want to win a speaker award. I really want to win the speaker award. Like, that's going to give me the most kind of leverage I need in my life. It's going to push me with my confidence with speaking more. It's going to be the thing I need the most, because I'm very confident in asexuality. I'm very confident in diversity inclusion. But with my speaking, I wasn't as confident. I'm more confident now since I won that award. And I knew that it would give me that. And I was like so focused on it that I got it. Right? So I believe that sometimes when you are very, very, very focused on something, like laser-like focus, you can actually get it. Which dispels the myth or the stereotype that you can never get what you want if you're so desperate for it. Also, with PIP, last year I lost my PIP, personal independence payment. I was determined to get that back. Whatever, I'm not saying I can always get it back, but I hope I can, but I was so determined. That was my main focus for 5 friggin' months. It was awful, but I got it. But I needed to get it back so desperately. I was so desperate to get it back, and I did. So when they say, oh, you can't get, you know, if you're desperate for something, you can't ever get it. That's not true. So yeah, it's really, really, really important that you understand, like, law of attraction is not just about what they, you know, what they say, you know, about not acting desperate. Law of attraction is also, you can attract things to you by the amount of time, energy, and effort you put into that thing, the amount of focus and attention, because the energy around that, you know, the energy of focus, it makes the thing bigger. It makes the energy around it bigger, which draws it into you in that way. And it actually helps you to get it, because you build momentum. Think of a choo-choo train, right? And think of you putting like fire in the engine. Think of the fire in the engine because you're putting more coal on it or whatever. It's like coal, one of the traditional steam engines, right? You're plonking a load of coal or whatever in there, right? And the more you plonk it in there and the more it's speeding, the more it picks up speed and traction on the train, the more it gets to the destination, right? So that's how it works when you're putting a lot of time, energy, effort, and you're really desperate to get that thing, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's just very, 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 very important. So yeah. So yeah, I just think that it's very, very, you know, important that you know that law of attraction can work like that as well. So if I put more and more time, energy, and effort into helping my health, but in a way that's thinking I'm believing I can do it, then that's going to help me to get better. So I think what we focus on expands in our mind. And I think with relationships, it's harder. I think if you're really desperate to get someone, I do think you can get them sometimes. And other times I think it repels them away as well, depending on who it is and how you do it, and what actions you take or don't take. So I think it can work in your disfavor in terms of relationships and people, depending what person it is. If you've got an avoidant person and then you're going towards them with desperation, of course they're just going to go away because they don't like that energy. But if you had another anxious person, you're really anxious, you're both anxious together, it can like be like, you know, it's not necessarily healthy having 2 anxious people either. But yeah, I think if you're desperate and it shows up in dating, like you're so desperate for anyone, that's not the type of desperation you want, right? You don't want to be desperate to get anyone and everyone, because that's not intentional desperation. That's just desperation full stop. You have to be intentional about what you desperately want. Do you know what I mean? And it has to be something that you can control to a certain extent, or that you have some influence over. But I mean, obviously, Pip, I didn't have direct control over that, or direct influence, but I could take certain actions to help improve the results for me. But, you know, I'm just very grateful and thankful I got my Pip back, because it's hard, as you can tell, with all the illness I have with constant disabilities and, getting ill and stuff. So main focus for me is really a lot of self-care at the moment, and just, like understanding that everything's not fine at the moment in my body, but it will be. I won't be in this state forever. And yeah, that helps me to get through it. So anyway, I hope you've liked this live stream. Thank you, Heather, and everyone else that's been in chat tonight. Do check out my books. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to get a copy of my Asexual Perspectives books. If you've been on this channel ages and you haven't got a copy of this book yet, what are you waiting for? Come on, people. Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories. Even if you're not asexual, I think you'll love the stories and find them very interesting. Because they answer all the questions about asexuality that probably you're not even thinking about, and some that you're thinking a lot about, and some you're like too afraid to ask, right? All about different types of, things like attraction, arousal, sexual attraction versus sexual desire, all that type of things in this book. And if you want less pain in your life, grab a copy of this. It is good. Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. And Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual. If you're looking to date, get into a relationship, or you just want really good life advice, 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life is part of this book. It's really good. So yeah, check out the books. Go and grab them and let me know what you think. And anyway, I want to know in the comments from you, what are you doing to look after yourself? And how are you showing up for yourself in your beingness rather than your doingness? How are you putting your beingness first? And how are you celebrating your wins in the moment without thinking, I've got to do 55,000 other things now just to prove my worth? What are you celebrating? What successes are you celebrating right now in this moment? Like, I'm absolutely ecstatic that we've gone over 2,100,000 views on this channel. And I'm basking in the glow of that. I've been very poorly, as you know, for a number of weeks, and I had like a 10-day break and then just got sick again. So for me, like, to be able to achieve that many views on this channel while being very ill a lot of the time is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I could have even hoped to get 100,000 views in a whole year before. That was it. That's an extra 100,000 views in like 28 days. So very, very grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to keep commenting, liking, sharing these videos. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode of when I go live like this, or post a lifestyle update, or vlog. And I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. I won't be live streaming a lot because I'm making sure I get better first, but I wanted to check in with you and share. And look out for some videos. I won't be posting as much until I'm better, but I love you and thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you very much, and take care. Stay ace. Bye.